Hello everyone, it's indeed inspiring to see you back again. This is another PySpark tutorial and this is the number 4. And today we will be discussing operations on data frames. So you can see that tutorial 3, it discusses about how you can create the data frames using Spark session in PySpark. And now we are going to discuss that how you can perform certain operations. So let me go to my Jupyter notebook, and this is the notebook I'll be continuing with. So let me just rerun these cells, and then we will be looking at Iris dataset. That is one of the most popular datasets, and you might be aware of Iris dataset. So let me go ahead executing these, and yes, so now from here, let me add some more cells. Yeah, so here I'll be starting with the Iris dataset. Okay, so Iris dataset. So I already have Iris dataset with me, so I can directly upload it and I can work on it. Okay, so yes, let me mark down this, and it is creating the Spark session object. Yes, it has created SS. So I can use this SS to read my Iris file. So here, let me create Iris data is equal to SS dot. If you remember, we have to use the read method. So SS dot read dot CSV. So read dot CSV. And here I need to give the path. So let me just take its path. So I do remember. So let me just write it here. So it is in D drive and slash slash under training under this folder under presentation under this we have iris.csv. Okay, iris.data is the name of my file. Okay, all right. So this is how I'll be getting my data. So it says invalid. So do you see any? Yes, I have put a dot over here. Yeah. So iris data is having these C0, C1, these kind of strings, and let us see the data. So this is the data we have. Okay, so you can see that we have C0, C1, C2, C3, C4 column names, and this is how we will not be able to understand like what is C0, what is C1, what is C2. We won't be able to get it. Okay, so what we can do is we can change the column names. So before I get into changing the column names, let me just print here iris data dot print schema. This is what we had seen last time. So all the columns are in string, are having string as data type. Okay, and if I want to see what are the columns, so I can just write iris data dot columns. So this will be showing me all the columns C0, C1. So what I will do, I will rename these columns. So how you can rename these columns, that I'll show you. Iris data, okay, is equal to iris data dot, we have a function with column renamed. So I'll be using with column renamed, and here in the bracket I will mention existing column name. For example, the first column name is underscore C0, and then I'll be replacing it with this. I know this is sepal length, so I'll be replacing it with SEPAL sepal underscore LENGTH sepal length. So I'm replacing it with sepal length, and I'll just put slash and enter. So I can keep on adding, you know, this yeah, I can keep on adding this here for the next column. So how many I have? So first, this is the second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth one. So we have total 4 inputs, and fifth one is the class basically. So let me edit all of them. So this is C1, and C1 is sepal width. So let me just change this length to width, width. And then the next one, okay, this next one, if you see, so it is not C0. This one is C2. So let me change this to C2, and this will become petal length. So it is going to be petal length. And the third one, this is C3, and the C3, it will become petal width. So let me change the whole of this and name it as PTL petal underscore WIDTH petal width. And the last one, it is C4. This one, if you see, this is the class. So let me name it as class itself, CLASS class. Okay. And let me execute this. So it is finding some, yeah, so let me remove the last bracket and let me execute it. So it is executed, and let me do iris data. And you can see that it is showing me the correct column names now. Okay, the logical column names, I should say. And iris data dot show. Here also you can see that the column names are now changed. Okay, so this is one operation. If you want to change the column name, this happens sometimes. Like we look at the data and the column names are not, not very logical. This actually happens. So in this case, how you can do here, you have seen that this is how we can make the changes. Okay, now let us move ahead and look at yes, if you want to know the class of okay, so if you want to know class of any particular column, let's say sepal length. So let me take this. Okay, sepal length. And if I want to know the class of this, so what I can do is I can just type here, okay, iris data, and in the bracket I can write here that particular column name. And here you can see, so it is of type column. Okay, so it is of type column. And in fact, if I basically put it under this way, type type, and execute it, so you can see that this is PySpark.sql.column.column. So what is the class of it, or what is the data type? So the data type is column here. Now if you want to select specific columns, then how you can do is, okay, specific columns. Let's say I just want to select sepal length. Okay, only sepal length. So I will write it like this. And yeah, so I can do write select function here. So select, and inside the select function, I can put the that particular column name. So sepal length I have put, and then I have to write the function show, and this is going to display all the sepal length columns only. Like no other columns will get included. Okay, so if you want to select a specific column, then you can do it like this. If you have more than one columns, okay, if you have more than one columns, then how you can go about it? So iris data dot select, and here you can write inside it, you can pass a list. So if you pass a list and the list is having multiple columns, it will be displaying multiple columns. So sepal length I'm passing, and I'll be passing class as well, CLASS. Okay, so I'm passing class. So these two things, and at the end, don't forget to put the show function. So I have put the show function over here and executing it. So you can see that I'm able to see sepal length and yeah, sepal length and the class. Then after this, let me help you with, if you want to add, some more column, then how can you do that? So here in this case, let me do one thing. Let me add the summation of sepal length and sepal width. Okay, so what I will be doing, sepal length and sepal width, summation of that I'll be adding as a new column. So how can I do that? Let me add certain more rows here. Yeah, so how I can do that? I can write iris data is equal to, and I'll perform on the same data set, iris data dot, here I can write with column. Okay, so with column is a function which will help me to perform some operations on columns, and those will be added as a new column value over there. Okay, so with column, and here I'll name it as let me name it as sepal length plus sepal width. So sepal length plus sepal width, this is what I'm doing. And here I'll be multiplying them. How I can multiply? Iris data, and I can take up with like this. So this is sepal length, and I'll be multiplying it with again iris data, and here I'll have to put sepal width. So this length, I'll just replace it with width. Okay, so width, width. And let me execute this, and let me show you now. So iris data dot show, if I will do, you'll be able to see that a new column has been added. So you can see that SL plus SW, right? So the summation has been added. So if you want to add a new column using the existing columns, then you can do like this. Now, if you want to drop, like many a times we need to add certain columns, maybe you'll be using the imputations, and then you'll be removing the, you'll be adding up a new, let's say, let's say you will be doing encoding, and you'll be adding up a new column with the help of encoded values. and then you will be removing the previous ones. Okay, so at that particular time, yes, you will be able to add a column, and you might have to drop also. Let's say I need to drop the sepal length now, so I will be dropping it by data dot iris data dot drop. So I'll be using drop function, and inside drop function I can just put that particular column name, and it will be dropping out. Okay, so and let me write the show function here. So show, and here we can see that it has dropped out that particular sepal length column. Okay, so this is the drop function we have used. And after this, yeah, so these are the few functions today I'm showing, and now we will move ahead, and we will be performing the missing values, how we can handle the missing values in pandas, like pandas in PySpark, that we'll be seeing. And after that, we'll be seeing EDA with I'll try to put it with Iris or some other data set. So keep watching. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a good day. Let's meet in the second video.